Gimel. We're holding 2, 4, 6, 8 lines from Eisvei. Efer kosher shenesarif be'efer mikla. Now, let's go back to what we discussed yesterday. We had a tremendous chiddush from Rabbi Yirmiyah, and that is we had a machlokes Rabbi Yirmiyah and Abaye. When you have a piece of tumah that becomes batel beroiv, what happens to that piece of tumah? Does it go away? Does the tumah go away forever, or it goes to sleep? The difference is, if that piece of tumah goes to sleep, and you could eat it, let's say, because it went to sleep, could you reawaken the dormant tumah? Rabbi Yirmiyah says it goes to sleep. It's dormant. It's there, hiding somewhere, and you could actually take it out. There's a way to reawaken it by adding more, according to Rabbi Yirmiyah, just adding more tar to it. Tar water to tumah water will reawaken the tumah water. According to Abaye, yes, there's a concept of reawakening, but that's when you mix other tumah to this tumah. Fine. Eisvei. Efer kosher. So now we have another case, very similar. You have the efer of the para aduma. The efer of the para aduma, is, as we know, is a chayk. Why is it such a chayk? Because it has the ability to be metar somebody else, but the person that touches it becomes tamei. So efer of para aduma is tamei.
Sprinkles it.
What?
Sprinkles it.
The sprinkler becomes tamei. The sprinkle becomes
Sprinkly.
the sprinkly becomes tar. Sprinkly. Efer kosher shenis ariv be'efer mikla. Mikla just means just plain old dirt. Holchim achar haroiv letamei. So this is fascinating. You have a mixture of this efer that's very tamei, and you added 51% to that. There's 49% paraduma, 51% dirt from the ground. If you touch it, you're tahar. Why? Because you are touching l'chayra. We have to assume you touched the part that's completely tar. Okay, so that makes sense. Did I jump the gun here?
Yeah.
Biruba efer miklahu loy mitame. Sorry, loy mitame.
Opposite. Holchem acharov l'tamei.
Efer mikla kosher is that efer mikla holchem acharov l'tamei. Biruba efer miklahu loy mitame. And if the most that's the second part is what I just said.
With the aleph, with an aleph.
Efer the ashes versus offer.
Not dirt.
Not dirt.
Okay,
Ashes from an aleph.
ashes and ashes, fine. Ashes and ashes make sense. Min b'mina. V'amris tuma kemandi isidami. So again, what do we have? We have a cup full of paraduma ashes, and we have a little bit more, a cup and a teaspoon of ashes of a regular cow, a white cow, that mixed together. And somebody went and touched the mixture. He's tahar. Why is he tahar? Because we're going to assume that he didn't touch the tamei part. He didn't touch the paraduma, he touched the roiv. That's all hilchas roiv. We go by the roiv. So the Gemara asks Bam Kasha. According to Rabbi Yirmiyah, that the tumah is sitting in the mixture somewhere. You just have to reawaken him. You're right that if you touch the outside of it, so you'll assume that your finger didn't necessarily touch the tamei part. But at the end of the day, you lifted the cup, and in the cup there's tumah. You're right, it's hiding, it's somewhere inside hiding, but you just lifted it. So you should become tamei from lifting it. Touching, not, because touching I could get away with the svara to say you didn't touch the tumah. But lifting, once you lift the package, inevitably you touch the tumah. You lifted the tumah. Says the Gemara, you're right. You're right. If you were to lift it up, you become tamei. Touching it, you're tar.
So there's no bittul anymore?
No, so that's what you missed. There is a bittul to put it to sleep, but you can reawaken it. According to Rabbi Yirmiyah. According to Abaye, if once you mevatel it, you mamish mevatel, it's bottle, it's gone. Rabbi Yirmiyah just says it's not bittul, it goes to sleep. You don't know where it's in there somewhere, and you can reawaken by adding tumah to it.
There's nothing to do with the case of Efer Maklish and Nisar of Efer Para. It's just a regular Stamakasha. When you have Efer Para and you have some Tameh in there, if you lift it up, you should become Tameh. What does it have to do with the...
The Gemara asks, it seems like you don't become tamei. From even by lifting it, it seems like you don't become tamei.
You're saying it's asking from the Brisa.
If it's hiding, you should become tamei from lifting, and it seems like you don't become tamei. It says you tar. So Gemara says, no, you have to make that distinction. Touching, you tar. Lifting, you're talking, because touching, you could still say that you touched the tar part. But lifting, you lifted everything at the same time.
If you touch everything at the same time, then
Oh, very good.
They say
Very
you can't
good.
touch everything, no?
So you're asking a very good question, and the Rishonim discuss it. Taisus over here, if you want to look, it's a whole long Taisus. What he's asking is that the same logic that we just said, that if you lift it, you just lifted everything together. So what happens if a person lays his body on every single granular of this afer, and he touched it all? So in one shot, he touched it all.
He's not the bottom part. Maybe the bottom part's the part which is the problem. The top
No.
part's the
He
problem.
lays it out. He lays it out smoothly, or he pours it a little bit in his hand and he puts it down. He pours another bit in his hand, pours it down. There's two ways to look at it. Either he physically touched each and every piece of afer, and he went through the whole thing. He
It's
said,
not
"I
enough
want to
be
make sure I'm
metame.
coming."
It's not enough to be metame. Those are granules. They're not enough to be metame. Only one gush of tuma will be metame. When you're lifting the
So
whole
why? Who
gush
says how much you need? Who says how much you need?
to be metame.
Who says? It's a sprinkle. One sprinkle makes the guy coming.
This is not
Yeah. Maybe every sand that he touches, we said it's the roiv that he's touching. Which is tough.
No. So there's two ways. You hear. There's two ways to do it. One way is not as good as the other way. One way is, we're going to see it in a second when it comes to meat. Let's say this is the cup of
Sunday
tuma. So he just takes a little bit of it, puts it in his hand, goes out. He says, "I don't know what this is. It's either tar or tummy." Okay, puts it in the side. Then he takes the rest, and he keeps on going until he goes through the entire cup. Eventually, it has to be that he touched tummy. It has to be. On that, you could say that maybe even this Rishonim, Taisus all the way at the bottom, at the end of Taisus, Dira Maskal Nevela B'Tela, he says that since this whole concept is only a Rabbanon, this going to sleep business and waking up, so maybe Rabbanon didn't say in that case that you become tummy. What's more difficult is like what you said, I think. He put that whatever was in the cup, he put it on his body in one shot. So now everything is touching him. You can't get away with saying, "Oh, maybe over here it wasn't, then it later in his bottle, part by part," or like no one was saying it wasn't enough. Over here, the whole thing is on his body. But even that, some Rishonim say it doesn't, because it's not his whole body, or whatever. It's a whole deal. And here it's going to get even worse.
Someone was saying that it's separate touchings and then it's done.
But at the end of the day, he touched everything.
Yeah, but it's...
How about this case? Look, this case is worse. So this is another question of Rabbi Yirmiyah. Again, Rabbi Yirmiyah says, what happens when you do bittul b'roiv? You have the smaller amount. You say it's okay. You could eat it. You could touch it. But where does it go? What happens to it? So Rabbi Yirmiyah says it's in the mixture somewhere. It's sleeping. It's dormant, and you could actually wake it up. You can make it tummy again by adding to it. So what about this case? Nevela b'tela b'shchuta. You have 3 pieces of meat. 1 is a nevela, 2 are shachot, 2 are kosher. So the nevela becomes batal b'roiv. Now, you can only do bittul b'roiv when you have min b'she'enei minor. 3 pieces of meat, ala chayra, the same min. So how do you have a min b'she'enei minor? Because 1 is a shchuta and 1 is not a shchuta. 1 is kosher and 1 is tummy. So let's see how this works. It's the shaila how you goyres here. She efshar lenevela shetei asa shchuta. Rashi says this is incorrect. This is not the way to read it. The Gemara says, in the way we have it in our Gemara, it says it's impossible for a nevela to turn into a shchuta, which almost seems right. Yeah, how could you have something that's a nevela turn into a shachut? Says Rashi, it's not right. It's not true. The what? That a nevela, when it disintegrates and becomes nothing, it becomes not royal achilas kelev, then it just turns back into shchuta. It becomes tar again. In terms of tahara, what is shchuta? 1 is mutar to eat, 1 is asa to eat. You can take a nevela and turn it to something that's tar. But you can't do the reverse. You can't take something that's tar and turn it into nevela. So Rashi's garis here, she efsha l'shchuta shetei asa nevela. Okay, fine. Whatever the girs is, the point is that we have 2 minim. We're looking at 2 types of meat. We have pork and we have regular beef. Or halachically, we have an avela and a shchuta. They're 2 minim, so one can be mevatel the other. It could be mizbatel. Exactly what piece is mevatel what that we had in menachas, the whole sugya, fine. She efshal and shchuta. So ask the Gemara, you're right. If you touch one of the pieces, I'm going to assume that what you touched is the kosher piece, not the nevela, so I didn't become tameh. But when I lifted up the bowl of chont, and I have 2 kosher pieces and 1 treif piece, I just lifted up treif. I don't care which one it is. Collectively, I lifted up a treif piece because I lifted it. I didn't touch it. I lifted it. When you lift, obviously I lifted something tummy in there. Over here, it's a little bit tougher. So what if a guy ate all 3 pieces? Could I eat all 3 pieces? I just said 2 are kosher, 1 is treif. It's batal b'roiv. What if I stick all 3 in my mouth? Some Rishonim say only 3 different people could eat it. Or
One at a time. You eat it one at a time.
but I'm saying the extreme shita is not one person,
Right.
even one at a time.
As opposed to
One at a time. And then Taisus over here says also that over here by eating, it's part by part becomes batal. As it goes into your mouth, it becomes you're mevadel, so you could eat all 3. It's not a problem.
So if you eat them all 3 all at once in the same mouthful,
But Taisus says no. Taisus says because the swallowing, as he swallowed, the belia.
if you swallowed it all,
Yeah, if you swallow, if the tiny, the zaysim, so it's impossible.
if it would be shchuta and trefa, then you would be okay to eat it. Because there are 2 pieces of trefa, 1 piece of trefa.
That's what we're talking about.
Because it's min b'mina.
No, that's what we're talking about.
Trefa, not it was shechted, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but it's not min b'mina. Because one is asr and one is mutter. They're not min b'mina. The fact that you can't eat the trefa makes it a different min.
I thought when you find meat in the marketplace, we said it's because it's min b'mina.
No, marketplace becomes it's a chazaka that it's kosher. That's something else. It was not coming. It doesn't. You're not mevatel that.
Have we had this concept before that min b'minoi
Yeah.
is the dividing thing is because one's kosher, one's not kosher, therefore it's no longer min minoi.
We're saying now that we're kosher or not kosher is min b'she'enu mina. It's 2 separate mina.
Every single example of
Min b'minoi?
literally in that case is the same.
Are you saying like chametz and not chametz should be min b'she'enu mina?
If it's the issa that creates the differentiation, then that doesn't change the of min.
Like we say, if it's bottle b'shishim, we can't eating it.
What?
I learned that when it's bottle b'shishim,
Sorry?
the person is not allowed to say I'm not eating from it. Since it's a halacha that it's bottle b'shishim, you can't say I'm not eating it because it's not kosher.
Okay, but we're talking about once it's bottled, but we're saying could it become bottled? Do you have a min b'minoi and how the min b'minoi works? That's all we're discussing.
It's identical minutes.
Omerlei,
Give to a scientist.
Omerlei, atum b'derav chizda masni sula, anam b'derav chiyah masni la. You have it from an Amora, we have it from a Tana, and Tani Rebbe Chia nevela u'shchuta v'telos bezu. You can be mevatel the nevela in the shchut. If you have 2 pieces of shachut and 1 piece of nevela, the nevela becomes shachut. With my law, and it was explained, they didn't explain. Or is Rebbe Chanina tar milakama b'mago, ava mitama b'maso. So the way they explained the Tana was, you're right. What we meant tar, all we meant is touching, and you're assuming that you touch the tar piece. If you have, what is it called?
Probability.
No, when you do with the gun and
Russian
Russian roulette. So if you have 3 pieces, you touch one. I'm going to assume that I touched the tar. It's 2/3 of the time I'm going to touch the tar. But when I lift it, that halacha doesn't apply because I just lifted all 3 of them together. Now we're going to our Mishnah. Same problem. In our Mishnah it says that a large animal who miscarried a loaf of blood, you assume that what she miscarried was a fetus, and therefore she's no longer chayiv in a bechar, and in order to treat it with respect, you have to bury it. However, we learned yesterday that you could touch it, and you don't consider it a nevela. If it was a real fetus, it's a nevela. You can't touch it; you become tamei. Amai, and what did Rabbi Yochanan explain? Actually, on today's daf, I think it was on the top, that we're talking about roiv. Since most of the mixture, most of this loaf is blood and other gook, not really fetus. So it's mevatel the fetus. So yes, you have a fetus that proves that she gave birth, and legabe b'char, there's no b'char, but legabe maga, touching, what you touch? You touch blood. You didn't touch fetus. Amayni, the Magaloy Tamo, the Tabim Maso, Ishtik. Rabbi Yirmiyah had no way out of this. You're right, touching it, you don't become tummy because you didn't touch the actual fetus, because maybe the fetus is inside the loaf. But when you lift it, you lifted the fetus somehow. You had nothing to answer. Says the Gemara, why not? It's a disgusting tumah, and a tumah srucha is not metamel. The omar tumah chamura ad leger. If you're talking about a nevela, so the nevela doesn't emit a strong tumah. What's a strong tumah? Tumah that you become tummy by lifting. Ad leger. Ger means a human being. Pasuk talks about a ger taishav, a guy that lives in Eretz Yisrael. You're allowed to let him live here if he keeps the 7 mitzvahs b'nei noyach. But he's allowed to eat nevela. So if a guy could eat it, it's roy lachila sadam. This is what we call roy lachila sadam. That's what it means. Ad the ger, until a person. And then you have what we know, chilas kelev, the tuma kala, and the lesser tuma. Over here it's interesting. Rashi talks about we had different times. Tuma kala was tumas oichlin. I think we had I don't remember what masechta was. One of the masechtas, chulin. Over here, tuma kala means mago versus masa. Masa is tuma chamura. So this nevela admits enough tuma for mago.
Meaning tumas masa is metama. So long
if you have a very strong tuma,
tumas maga is metama. So long that's roy.
Exactly. If you have a very strong tuma, that it's very close to being food because people eat it. There are people that eat these foods. And memela, it gives more tumah off. It'll be matama even by lifting. You have a lesser thing. You have something that's really disgusting. People don't even look at it. The dog will take it out of the garbage, right? You see them all the time. The cats go take the spoiled meat. They love it. Shema. That kind of food will give tumah for touching. Adakel. So mela, very good. So I can answer over here. You're talking about it's. This piece of this loaf is no good for a human. And memela, it's not metama by lifting up, so you don't have a kasha. You ask me, how come it's metama by touching and not by lifting? Because it's not roy for a person. Who's going to eat a loaf of blood that came out of bananas?
It's called blood sausage.
Yeah. That's if you take it out of their veins. But if it came out of other parts and it was a miscarriage, I don't think Germans eat that.
Listen, that guy, when he's hungry.
Fine. It's a miscarriage. Rabbi said it's not really for a person.
It's not pure blood.
Yeah, it's a whole mixture. It has geschmack of bones in there. It's good.
Very crunchy.
Very nutritional.
Turning the page. At the end of the day, this charoras dam. The dog has no problem eating it. So maybe it should be mitama b'maso. And if it's mitama b'maso, how come it says it's not metama? Kasha usually means there might be some sort of answer somewhere. It's not like you thought. It's not a bomb. At the end of the day, kind of. Gufa barpada omar tumah chamura ad leger. We just learned that when you have a stronger tumah, so even meaning that a ger, a human eats it. So it's a stronger tumas mas. Tumah kala ad lekela, that if a dog can eat it, then it emits a tumah kala. Verbich noma achazu ad lekela. My taima, the barpada the chsiv lo yisoichlu kol nevela leger. Harui leger, if it's good for human consumption, kruya nevela. V'sheinu rui leger, eino kruya nevela. V'idach, what's Rabbi going to say? Lemuutei heicha de sricha meikara. You have a situation where one of the animal's limbs is dangling, and it just becomes all wormy and gangry and disgusting. So Memela, it was before it had a chance to become tamei, it was already gone. It wasn't right. Then so Rav Pada says the obvious. His sricha mikar, sricha mikar. I don't need a pasuk for that. After ba'almo, over here it's after with the ayin. Okay, it's like dirt. It's nothing. What's the havamina that tumah should be chal on a piece of dirt? It's wormy. Nothing. It's not meat. None. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov oimer behemel gasa sheshofach harar dam. Back to our Mishnah. A large animal who miscarried a loaf of blood, harezu de cover, you have to bury it. V'nifteres min abchayra. V'ton Reb Chia inu metam aloi b'maga v'loi b'maso. Even if you touch it you're not Tomei. Vomer Rabbi Yochanan explains, Mishum Bittul B'Rov Nogu Bo. These are the best. These lines are the best with Daf Yomi. This is the third time we're repeating this today. So we said that we're talking about Rov. Why if you touch it, you're not Tomei? Because it's mostly blood. As the Gemara Meir, Mishum Bittul B'Rov, Tevigli, Dois Chazi Klal. According to what we just said, you can't eat it. Who's going to eat this loaf? So forget about Bittul. It's not Rov for a dog. When it was in the stomach, so either when you shechted it, you could eat it, or it means a guy could eat it. It's not disgusting. It becomes disgusting when it's a miscarriage. When it's with part of her body, part of the animal, people eat it. It's one of the things you eat.
No.
If let's say an animal expelled her brain, right? Her brain came out somehow. Nobody's going to touch it. But if you cook it up, if it's part of the shechita, geschmack. It's sweetbreads. Call it whatever you want. So over here, it's part of the mother.
Have you tried it?
You can
Not
say
also
as much confidence as you want. It doesn't make it more
Sunday we're gonna have the rain.
Nah.
No brains. No.
The first few people that come get lamb chops. So come on time.
15 people at 7 o'clock at your door.
I think the meaning here is that
I made a when I left Eretz Yisrael, we made a sale. It says, Sunday is the sale. So like on Wednesday, people are knocking on the door. Can we come in? No, Sunday. Every 10 minutes. That's how it was. Coming early. No, I'm kidding. You come late, you get the lamb chops. Fine.
I think the meaning
Too late to change that.
meaning of bakavime is that you're talking about somebody who's roasting the animal,
Yeah.
and this is inside it. So even if you don't eat it, even if it's not edible, that since the whole animal as a whole is being roasted for food, it gets a din of food because it's part of the animal.
I just thought that people eat it. It's not as disgusting.
I think that's showing
It's
it
not as mias.
It's not in itself. It's agav ime. It's because the.
But look what Rashi said. Rashi even says the lashon chazil ger. It's good for a ger. It's good for a person.
Masechta says it the way Eli said it.
So what are you saying? What are you saying?
Like you're saying. Shem lo haisa behem pila sacharara, vayushachtem haisa sacharara ruya leachila yachad im basayim.
Okay.
It just came out from the area that's not
It's not just weird. It's like
No,
people view it. I'll give you an example.
You think psychologically?
Yes. No. I'll give you an example. Rabbi Schoenberg. We had by an avela also that if a Jew doesn't eat an avela, then it becomes disgusting for the guy. You know what I mean? Like we said, a treifa the guy doesn't care about because if you shechted it, but once it becomes disgusting for a Jew, then all of a sudden psychologically it's no good for the guy also. It's like it has a lot to do in the head. Could be the same exact thing, but one is before it came out, one is after. It's not also.
Donkey in the street, the guy won't eat that.
Why is the dog more cold than a ger? I don't understand.
What?
Why do we say a dog is more cold than a ger?
Then a who?
Than a tosha?
No, a dog eats more stuff than humans. Dogs rummage through the garbage
so
and they take stuff out.
So therefore, if it's
it's a lesser type of food, so it gives less tumah.
not more to
What's the
No, because when a food is not tummy at all, like we saw before, it's so disgusting that even a dog doesn't eat. There's zero tumah. So that's where it starts. Zero, and starts climbing. Well, a dog eats it, okay, little tumah. Human eats it, it's a lot of tumah.
What's the difference between a ger and a nochi?
It just says it in the Torah. So it's not that big ger, it means all humans. Ger means human over here. Talk about the Torah.
says a ger.
No, because he accepted upon himself 7 mitzvahs. He accepted upon himself 7 mitzvahs b'nei noyah.
It's a mitzvah.
But halachically, in terms of it's the same thing, whether it's a ger.
Yeah, human is human. It's a from person also that decides if it's food. They have the same palate. But the Torah calls him a ger. Like ger, the neveli should give to ger. The Torah says give the neveli to ger.
And the nochi you said it says.
Right.
Yeah, you have
And then we
more.
had the machlokes from Meir and Yehuda. Could you sell to Toishav? Could you give to the ger? You know the whole thing.
You have more of an obligation to support a ger than.
Yeah, that's part of the machlokes. Which comes first? Is there a kedima or not a kedima?
You have a responsibility.
Tanan also Rabbi Lezer Yaakov Omer. Tzir Tahar. Back to that sugya of tzir.
Oh yes.
In Masechtas Machshirin. Anybody ever heard of that Masechta?
Oh yeah. Come on.
No, you heard of that Masechta? Masechtas Machshirin. Okay. Sir Tahar Shenafal, I never learned it. Sir Tahar Shenafal L'Toichem Mayim Kol Shu. Now, you have this, let's go back. You have the fish brine that is a mixture of the fish brine and water. How much water? We'll see. The brine itself cannot become tamei because it's zeya ba'alma. It's just pure, it's nothing. It's sweat. Sweat doesn't become tamei. Water can become tamei, but you could be mitayr the water through hashaka. By touching water to water of a mikvah, if they just touch, the taps touch, then everything in the cup becomes tahar. Now, you have this fish brine that became tahar because you did hashaka. Shenafal l'toichay mayim kol shehu. If you add a little bit of water to it, it becomes tamei, because now you did min b'minoi, you added water to water, min b'minoi, it awakens the water in the brine. Omer Rav Nachman Omer Rabbi explains, Omer Rav Nachman Omer Rabbi Rav Uz, he meres nechshedu ami oretz la'arev mechza mayim b'tzir. If you have exactly a 50-50,
You added tahar water or tamei water?
you added tar water.
Tahar water.
Yeah. According to Rabbi Yirmiyah, the tar,
You added
Tar
tahar
to
water,
yeah.
and the tzir
According to
itself was
Abaya-
tahar, and the tzir itself was tahar.
according to Abai would be tamei, but you would have, we don't have to go into it. But yes, it's according to Rabbi Yirmiyah, tar water works. Because Rabbi Yirmiyah says tar could awaken a tamei. According to Abaya, only tamei could awaken tamei. So
And now
according to
there's
Abaya, it would be
more
another
tamei water.
Amoritz water that dropped in.
Before you added the tahor water, the water was tummy?
Yeah. He did a shaka.
50-50?
He did a shaka.
No, it was originally tamei, then became tahar. Through the
Originally
hashaka.
tamei, he did a hashaka process. He touched water to a mikvah. It became tar, and now you have in the mixture 50% brine, 50% water. Then he comes along and adds more water to it. Now you have 51% water and 49% brine.
Does that awaken?
What?
How about adding tahor water, even though the water's more than the brine right now?
That's exactly what we discussed yesterday. That was the end of yesterday's shir. Whether tahar could reawaken tamei. Rabbi Yirmiyah says it could because it's one min, and now all of a sudden the min became more. Now you have 51% water. I don't care if it's a mixture of tamei and tar. Abai says no. You need tamei water together with the mixture to become and reawaken. That was yesterday's. That was all the way at the end of yesterday, at like, I don't know, quarter to 8 sometime. Says the Gemara, why do I have to do this whole thing where this 50-50 and I just made it 51-49? What if we started off with 49-51 and I added a drop of water and I just made it 50-50? It's also no good. I also made it tamei. Why? Because bittul b'roiv is only when it's 149. But 50-50, there's no bittul b'roiv. So then the fish brine should reawaken at 50-50. The Gemara is just being medayik to hears on the percentage. Why you talk? What?
You can prove after something.
This is not a tzimtzum. You put in a geshmak amount. 1% over here is a liter. I don't know what. The guy is in a factory. Okay. The Gemara again, we're starting off with 50-50, and you added 1% of water. What did the percentage come? 51-49. The Gemara says you don't need 51-49 to make it usher. All you need is 50-50. So start off with more kosher than tamei, and you add water, now that the tamei equals the tahar, and that's a problem, la halacha. That should also be metamin. Afilu basim matsanami, vani mashu havali palgo, palgoli batul, even 50% is not batul, 50-50. So the Gemara one teretz, you're right. Okay, fine, you got me. I didn't really mean 51-49. I meant 50-50. Okay. Here's a big chiddush, maybe. We're discussing an amaretz. We don't know for sure that's tamei. We're assuming it's tamei, so it's only a tumah d'Rabbanan. Tumas mashki and the Rabbanan. And the whole thing that the mashki become tamei is the Rabbanan. So we have two strikes against us. Two sveiks. Beruba, not really. We're not talking about svek here, but we're just talking about two Rabbanan. Two chumras. Very good. Beruba goes Rabbanan. So if you have more tamei than tar, that's when they enacted the gzeira. The palgo it goes with Rabbanan. Some want to say from here's proof that if you have the Rabbanan and then
Two.
but very good. Over here it's two. Says the Mishnah.
The Gemara doesn't answer because
Mendy.
it's two Rabbanons, it's mutter. The Gemara then is saying because it's two Rabbanons, the Chazan never made the Gzeir in the first place. That's what it's saying.
You're saying another step. So when you have a real problem that you already have Xera, you can't undo it.
Yeah, you can't say it's two Rabbanons.
I don't think anybody really wants to say, but they want to make a problem. Says the Mishnah, Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer, Halikev behema meniko min hagoy. You take a nursing animal from a goy. So you have a goy you have an animal that it has a baby following it and nursing it. So you don't have to be concerned that maybe she's nursing somebody else's baby. MMA what? So she doesn't have bechor. Next time she doesn't have bechor. Same halacha in a different way. He walks into his pen. He sees these cows or animals that never gave birth before. This is the first time they're making becharim over here, and he sees them minikos. They're nursing. Minikos. Bekitzer, he has 10 cows. They're all nursing, but he knows that these 5, it's the first birth, and these 5, it's their second birth. Do we have to be concerned that there's a mix-up here, or are animals very, very makbid on their babies, and they only nurse their own babies, and there's no mix-ups by animals? What's the
They're all nursing?
They're all nursing.
So what's the chash? What's the problem?
The chash is that
Even if they're mixing up?
no, the chash is maybe they're nursing the wrong animal.
And therefore?
It's not a
And
bechar.
they didn't give birth.
You took a non-bechar.
They're saying they never gave birth.
No.
No,
this
there's
is-
there's 5 animals. There's 5 animals that already gave birth.
Okay.
5 animals that already gave birth, so their 5
Are not
males are not becharim.
Right.
Those 5 that are not becharim went to the cows that had becharim.
Yeah.
So now you say, oh, here's a bechar. He gives to the kohen 5 animals. He gave the wrong ones.
Worried about
They're mixed up.
Can there be a mix
Well,
up?
Well, fakest. There's a whole mix-up going on here.
Got it.
There's if you watch, me and Mendy like to watch the stuff. I mean, not on little WhatsApp. We have the wildebeest crossing in Tanzania. The million wildebeest cross the river, and the crocodiles come and grab every 100 gets killed, and some of them drown. It's mayhem, and they get to the other side, and then the whole fun starts. You hear screaming, babies and mothers, and they're looking for each other because it's a mishkabat. And
Sunday night at 9:30.
yeah, that's part. What?
What time should we come over?
Eventually, somehow, it's mistader. I don't know how. I guess they have simanim, and maybe not. That's the problem. Do animals
Smell
recognize?
each tag on the
They smell each other.
Going
They
through that
smell the
river and the
baby.
smell and the this.
tag on the
What?
Yes.
The mother smells the baby.
Look,
They all
there's
smell
mix-ups
the
by
same.
humans,
Smell
and
them.
there's probably mix-ups by animals also. But we have to concern something about
It's
it.
like Father's Day.
I'm Rav Nachman Mishmei the Rav.
Omar.
Mishmei the Rav.
So, Ei Chashishim Shema B'nosh Zu, Boet Lo Etzel Zu, Shema B'nosh Zu, Boet Lo Zu. Omar Rav Nachman Mishmei the Rav. Says Rav Nachman the name of Rav. Mordik. Hilchas Bekula Pirkin Bar Miklukta. You should know that every Mishnah we had in this parak, we didn't have too many Mishnayos. The halach is like that Mishnah, besides when there's a machlokes in the Mishnah. Omer Rav Sheshes. Amino, I'm certain.
Then it's like that. Either.
No. When the Mishnah is anonymous, there's just one halach in the Mishnah, like we just had over here. Rav Shimon Gamliel Omer, he says, oh, halach is like Rav Shimon Gamliel.
Okay.
But when we had the other Mishnah, there's a whole list of Rav Gamliel or Rav Akiva, machlokes, if a goat gives birth more than once in 1 year, and if you add, as the Gemara is going to explain, then the halach is not like that Mishnah. Says Rav
That's what
Sheshes.
he's asking. Like either?
What?
Like either?
It's not like anybody, or it's like somebody.
It has to be like somebody.
The
It's
obvious
always
answer
one out of
was
two.
Gemara.
What works it out?
No, but the Gemara
So
says.
the Chiddush is the
it-
ratio of that statement. The Chiddush-
Well, it's even more than that, because we'll see in a second, because this Mishnah has a
Okay.
brisa that's mechulak on it.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay.
Omer Rav Sheshes Amina Kinayim V'Shochav Rav Omer Lashmaitzim. I'm telling you that it has to be Rav who's. This is how the Chavas Yair explains. This is how everybody explains that he's not saying something degrading. Or Rav, he was sleeping. He's saying Rav is so choshev. It can't be that something like this came out of his mouth. He's choshev falling asleep. And he fell asleep eventually, and therefore, like Tosfos explains in another Masechta, that he was falling asleep, and he actually fell asleep, so he couldn't retract it because he fell asleep.
How many
This
times
is
does it say this in Shas?
8
Nine
times.
the Shachar Torah. Yeah.
8 times, yeah.
8?
What do you sleep talked?
And not only does it say Kinai B'Shachar Rav, it says Omer Rav Sheshes Kinai B'Shachar. It's always Rav
Always Rav
Sheshes,
Sheshes.
who said nobody else ever says this. It's Rav Sheshes who says it.
He used to
And it's
sleep
all
talk?
different, it's all different sugyas. 8 different sugyas. What?
He used to sleep talk?
No, he was-
Yes, as he's falling asleep. Listen, they say about the Vilna Gaon that he only slept 2 hours a night and a half hour at a time. You're talking about Rav. You're talking about Gosh V'Gdolim. So I don't know how much he slept. Let's say he slept, if the Vilna Gaon slept 2 hours, he slept an hour. So he's tired. As he's falling asleep, boom, he said something.
I mean,
Now, what's the problem?
Outscroll is very
What did he
cute.
learn? There was no
He says
rap.
he's drifting off to sleep. He wasn't sleeping yet.
No,
Right,
it wasn't.
while he's drifting
He's
off, he
drifting off.
says these words.
You know when you had those sleepovers when you're a kid, and as you say like
Right.
something that doesn't even make sense, like Mamish, those last words, like you know what I'm talking about?
When your kid comes to
That's
when
what
you're
it was.
sleeping and
Fine.
asks you for something and you say yes, and you really
Like
mean it.
His room is painted green.
Amina kinai b'shochiv rav. I'm gonna shmeitze. I hear you. Which mission is he referring to? What's the chiddush over here? That's why he doesn't like it. Ilim Areisha. He's talking about the first mission, talking about a goat could only give birth in the first year. Rebbe Kiva says, I have another raya. If she had a miscarriage, or we have to be chosh for miscarriage, nothing to do with giving birth in the first year. Miflegi Rebbe Shmuel, Rebbe Kiva. So that's a machlokes. So you can't be talking about that Mishnah because that's a machlokes. The halach is not like that Mishnah. Elo ad Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. So he's talking about Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. That what? This past Mishnah, what do we just say about Charoras Dam? Charoras Dam, famous Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov, Kavanoki. Obviously, there's no reason for Rav to say this. It's pashut every time the halach is like Rebbe Eliezer ben Yaakov. Elo ad Rebbe Shimon Gamliel. He's talking about our Mishnah. That if you find an animal who's nursing, you have to assume that it's the right animal. It's the mother and the kid. Miflag Palik bebraisa. So we have a brow. There's actually machlokes in the brisa. So it's not an anonymous Mishnah. There's a machlokes.
What do you mean? Maybe that's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, that's I told you.
That's
That's
the
exactly what he's saying. That's what the Gemara says.
That's going to be the answer.
Yes, that's the answer.
Correct.
Says Gemara, Elo Adar Yosi Hamashulam. So later on, the next mission is about Yosef Meshulam, who says that you're allowed to cut the hair of a bechar in order to do shchita. It's not considered geizes. Ha'amar Rav Chada Zimna, Damar Rav. He already said this. He said, so all you need to say, halav is Yosef Meshulam. You don't have to go through this whole thing. All the Mishnayos are like this, and just say your point is Yosef Meshulam. So say the point, and he already said the point. Elo Asar Balmum. He's talking about the last Mishnah in the. It's not so simple, that Mishnah. There is a machlokes. Coming back to our Mishnah. That's why the Gemara is in our sugya. That if you see a mother then you're over. It's a good thing I didn't kill that cat in my machsan with her baby. I was about to do it because they caused me $6,000 worth of damage. I have 60 suitcases times $100. I'm just averaging. And so I had a feeling for a minute to kill her and her kid, but I would have been over. Because how do I know it's the mother? How do I know it's the mother? I saw her nursing her. So Mela, the Brisa loy looked to he. So that goof is the chiddush. That the fact that the Gemara brings a Brisa that argues with our Mishnah, that's not considered a machlokes that we're concerned about. In terms of halacha is like this Mishnah says Rav. Now we have another question. So since we know that the halach is always like the Mishnah unless there's a machlokes, so then why did Rav come up and say, oh, by the way, the halach is like Rabbi Yosef Meshulam? He already said his halacha. The halach is like the Mishnah, and Rabbi Yosef Meshulam is the only one in the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, very good. If you wouldn't say those words, then I would think that his klal goes only on that Mishnah of Geizes, of Yosef Meshulam. And Umay Bekuli Pirkin, what does it mean, the entire parak? Besides our Mishnah. Not our Mishnah, but it means the whole parak, the Rabbi Yosef Tarti Omar. Rabbi Yosef Meshulam, there's 2 Mishnayos, the second to last and the last, and he's talking about both. But not our Mishnah. He's not coming to say that our Mishnah is halacha like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. And in fact, when the Brisa brings a machlokes, it's considered a machlokes, and that's why the halacha is not like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. And therefore he said, you should know that halacha is like Rabbi Yossi. Memela, that's unnecessary to say that halacha is like Rabbi Yossi. So our mission is the only one available. Should we go weiter? No?
What's
Okay.
Shabbos.
Okay, Motzi Shabbos, 9:15.
9:15. Sunday, please be there.
what
8
time?
o'clock,
8 p.m.
Ma'ariv.
Forest Lehman and all those guys.
8 p.m. We're still looking for some desserts.
What desserts do you want?
What desserts do we want?